The messenger for today is Dr. John Alex. He is a teacher, a scholar, a writer, one who has been teaching and mentoring students at India Bible College and Seminary. He came and started teaching a few years ago, and one of the things that really piqued my interest is when I found out that he had missionary experience, that he was on the field, that he was ministering to people in different parts of India, and especially in North India. And when you have somebody with a missionary heart, a love for people, that makes a huge difference in the way you teach and communicate. It is not merely imparting information, but you're imparting your life. You're imparting how you've experienced the Lord's ministry in different contexts and how you've seen the Lord work in different contexts. So it was with great joy that we had him minister to our students and guide. And then, as you know, at India Bible College, we have two accreditation. One is Asia Theological Seminary, Asia Theological Association. The other is the accreditation that we have through the University of Serampore. And when we were looking for a principal, we had him right in our campus. And he fit every aspect of the bill that we needed and fulfilled that. And so he has been serving not only as a teacher and faculty, but as the principal for the Serampore stream. And so we are blessed, and we especially are grateful that the Lord opened the door for him to come and be at Fuller Seminary. And Fuller sponsors scholars from different parts of the world. 2 scholars, I think, a year who come to write books that would benefit the larger body of Christ. So he is here on that sabbatical scholarship to focus his attention on writing a book that will become a textbook that will serve the rest of the Bible colleges and seminaries in India. So I pray that God would bless him and grant him all the grace that is needed. And so we are blessed to have him, and his wife will join him in a few weeks. And Ida is her name, who teaches at India Bible College and Seminary in the field of church history. And they are blessed with 2 daughters. So would you welcome and give an ICA welcome to Dr. John Alex as he comes and ministers God's word to us today.
3 friends were working in an office of a 100-floor building. One day, because of some technical problems, somehow the elevator stopped working. It was not functioning. But it was urgent for these 3 friends to go to the office on that same day. So they decided to climb the stair. Then the first person said, from the first floor to 33rd floor, I will say good stories, and you can listen to the stories and you can reach the 33rd floor. Then the second person said, okay, then from 33rd floor onwards, I will sing good songs, and you can listen to the songs and you can reach 66th floor. And then the third person said, okay, from 67th floor onwards, I will crack jokes. And you can listen to the jokes and you can reach we can reach the 100th floor. So they started climbing the stairs. They listened to the songs and they reached 33rd floor. And again they listened to the songs and they reached the 66th floor. And they began to listen to many jokes and they reached 99th floor. When they reached the 99th floor, the third person said, I'm going to crack the last and the best of the jokes, but don't get upset by the joke. I forgot the key of the office. Who am I? Why am I here? Why do I do what I am doing? These are some of the essential questions we have to ask every now and then to ourselves. If we miss the right answer, we are like people who miss the key and climbing the stairs. So today, this afternoon, I would like to share some of my experience with the Lord. And also from one of the most beautiful passage, one of the most beautiful chapter in the Bible. All of a sudden, when I say the most beautiful chapter in the Bible, I'll ask you which chapter will come to your mind. Without doubt, for me it is Psalm 23. Let's turn to Psalm 23. Back in Kerala, in the early days, if you're looking at the old Bible, nowadays when I'm going to the church, they don't have the Bible. I have to say, you take your mobile phone and scroll to Psalm 23. Right? In the olden days, they have the Bible, the middle part bulged out. Right? The only reason is that we all love to read Psalms. We all love to read Psalms. It is not only for us. When we are looking into the New Testament, there are 360 quotations from the Old Testament. And out of 360 quotations, 129 quotations are from Psalms. And again, when we look into the life of Jesus continuously using quote from the Psalms. There are 7 sayings of Jesus on the cross. Out of that 7 sayings, 2 sayings are from the Psalms. My Lord, why have you forsaken me? And also another one, I thirst. These 2 are from Psalms. And again, not only in the early church and only for Jesus, and when we are looking into the history also, we can see that the Psalms got a special place. In 1453, in the printing press, it was not the Shakespeare's novel, or neither from the Genesis or not from the Matthew. It was first printed. The first printed book was Psalms. Martin Luther said like this: during those days, it was very expensive to have a Bible. If you don't have the Bible or if you are not able to read the entire Bible, read the Psalms. That will give you the summary of the entire Bible. And again, when it comes to the Psalms, the most beautiful Psalm is Psalm 23. I hope you all know this Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. This is the most beautiful Psalm. And it always got a special place in my heart. When my eldest daughter, when we sent her to the kindergarten, when she came back from the school, we decided to teach her this psalm. So we called our little daughter, Olive, come. I'm going to teach you, please recite with us. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Then all of a sudden she said, He maketh me lie down in green pastures. I wondered, because we never had this KJV version in maketh and cometh in not our version. And we asked her, from where you learned this Bible verse. The teacher of that kindergarten was a believer. On the first day, she taught this psalm. So from womb to tomb, this psalm is one of the beautiful psalm everyone enjoy. Not only that, when we look into this as a text, the literature is also so beautiful. The way in which it wrote in Hebrew. See, if you're looking into the text, at the beginning and at the end, we can see the proper noun. In the middle, it is in second person. Or at the beginning, at the end, the psalmist is placing Yahweh. He's placing God at the beginning and at the end. In a way, even through the literature, the psalmist is telling that I set a boundary. I set a boundary and I don't have anything else. I don't want to go beyond that boundary. The boundary is God alone. Whatever it may be, whatever the situation may be, I have only one boundary, that is God and God alone. The rest of the passage, when you are looking into the text, you can see that it is in second person. So he begins with Yahweh, ends with Yahweh. And the psalmist is telling, I don't want anything if it falls outside the gift of God. And I don't have any loyalty outside of God. I'm neither a democratic nor a republic. Right? My commitment is 100% loyalty to this Lord. I don't have any other business. No divided loyalty. When we are telling that in the Old Testament, when someone is telling that Lord is my shepherd, the metaphor, the imagery basically for shepherd means king. Isaiah chapter 40, 8 through 11, it says that the Lord is my king. Or he is telling that the lordship, he is telling that I don't have a divided loyalty, my absolute loyalty is to this Lord. And I belong to that kingdom alone. And I love to live within that kingdom. And look at the verbs in the Psalms. Sheep is not doing anything. The entire work belongs to the shepherd. It is not the duty of the sheep to go after anything. It is the duty of the shepherd to find out everything for him. If Jesus is the Lord of our life, rest of the thing he will take care of. When we gave our life to Jesus, Jesus will take care of us because he is a living God. What is actually lordship? The meaning of lordship. I'll tell a simple example for you to understand in a simple way. Imagine that when we are going from here, we are taking our car, we are going to Fuller. On the way near the supermarket, Jesus is standing there. I think none of you will increase the speed of your vehicle. You will stop your vehicle. You will pull your vehicle to the supermarket, and you will ask Jesus to get inside the vehicle. And then you'll take Jesus to home, right? It is not only me, all of you will do the same thing. Right? And then we will give our guest room to Jesus. It is not only me, not only you, not only a Christian, even a Muslim or a Hindu, if they realize that if that is Jesus, they will do the same thing. But when we are talking about lordship, it is something different. And when I'm going from here to Fuller and I'm seeing Jesus, I pull my vehicle to the supermarket, that place, and then I'll stop my vehicle. I'll take the key, and I'll give the key to Jesus and tell Jesus, this is your vehicle. We want to sit in the driver's seat, and we want Jesus to sit as a guest. But lordship means we are giving the key to Jesus and asking Jesus to drive the vehicle. He is in the driving seat. That's the difference. And going to the house, not only me, all of us will give the guest room, because a guest room means that is a beautiful, we don't have any disturbance. It is always a beautiful place. But when I reach the apartment, I'll give the key of my apartment to Jesus and tell Jesus, this is your house, this is your apartment. That is actually lordship. Jesus, instead of going to the guest room, he'll directly go and take your laptop. Then he will go and take your mobile phone. Hey, don't touch my mobile phone, that's my property. If Jesus is the Lord, then the property it does not belong to you, it is the property of Jesus. And we are telling that Jesus, Lord is my shepherd, we are telling that I don't have any divided loyalty. I gave my entire life, 100% commitment, not even 99%. There was a match between India and Pakistan, and in the match, Pakistan won the match, and there was celebration in Hyderabad. Living in India and celebrating for Pakistan, that's not possible. And we are saying that we are living in the kingdom of God, and we cannot celebrate for the world. An undivided loyalty. And again, when we see this passage here, it says that the Lord is my shepherd. I was born and brought up in a village background, in a very rural village in Kerala. And we have sheep and dogs, buffaloes in our home. When I was during my childhood days, now we don't have it. And we send these buffaloes and ox to the field. But when it comes to the sheep, we will take the food for them to near to the manger, to the place. Because sheep always need the tender care of the master. I am not the ox or buffalo of God, I am the sheep of God. I need his care. The ox can go is more self-sufficient, but the imagery sheep means sheep is not self-sufficient. It always needs the care of the shepherd. The psalmist is affirming here, the Lord is my shepherd. I was born in an Anglican family, CSI background. When I was doing my +2, I decided to, since I was born and brought up in a CSI background, an Anglican family, a Christian background, I decided to read Bible. No one said to me to read the Bible, but I started reading the Bible. So from Genesis onwards, I started reading. Let me tell you, before finishing it completely once, I accepted Christ as the Savior in my life. The Word of God has the power to transform the life of human being. From that day onwards, I fell in love with the Bible. Till today, I fell in love with the Bible. See, during my school days, I was not a good student. I still remember when I was in 8th grade. Out of 12 subjects, I failed for 10 subjects. You will laugh at it, but that was my life. During my Christmas examination, when my class teacher gave the progress report, she said to me, John, if you study like this, you will not even pass 8th standard. And because of my height, I was always a backbencher. And somehow I passed 8th standard, 8th grade and 9th grade, I gave to 10th standard. The teacher who taught me maths at 8th standard was teaching maths in 10th standard. On the first day, especially in 10th grade, means we are with a new commitment, new dedication, we are there. On the first day, when she saw me in the back, she made a comment, publicly she made a comment, "Oh, John, you too in 10th grade." Because she never thought that I'll come even up to 10th grade. And on the next day, and for the first time, I was looking at the blackboard because it is 10th standard. And on the next day, she was writing something on Pascal's triangle. I still remember that. She wrote the first step, second step, third step, and then she asked me to stand up. And then she asked me, "Can you tell the next step? Tell the next step." And I understood the logic of first, second, and third step, and I said the fourth step. Then all of a sudden, her response, "Are you going for tuition?" Because she never expected an answer. And I don't know how to do revenge to this teacher, because to do revenge to teacher is not an easy task. I went home and took the maths text and I began to study maths. And the Onam examination came, the first time examination. My maths teacher was distributing the answer sheets. And my roll number came, she put the answer sheet there and distributed the entire sheet. And then she asked me to stand up. And I was top for mathematics. I was top for maths. And I did revenge to this teacher by finishing BSc Maths. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. And the entire verb belongs to this shepherd. When God is our shepherd, He will take care of all our needs. My provision is from the Lord. And look at the verse from 2 onwards. He makes me lie down. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He is guiding me to still waters. It is not my business, it is the business of the shepherd. And again, look at the first verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want is an incomplete sentence. It is not a complete sentence. And you have the privilege, if Jesus is the king, you have the privilege to fill what is there. What is your need? Good food, good water, paths of righteousness. All this is from the shepherd. He makes me lie down in green pastures. It is He who is taking care of my life. In 8th standard, I never thought of finishing 10th standard, but I am standing here with a PhD degree. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Even my provisions. When God calls you for the ministry, the rest of the thing, God will take care of it. I still remember when I was doing my PhD program, my wife was doing MTH. We were 2 little daughters. We were not sponsored by anyone during those days, though we were born and brought up in an above middle class family in Kerala. Doing PhD without a sponsorship is not an easy task. And one of our commitment, we never asked money even to my parents or to my brothers. They were so generous, but we never asked them. And we 4 were studying. My eldest daughter in first standard, little one in kindergarten, my wife doing MTH, I am doing PhD. It was during those days. We were managing, somehow we were managing. On one fine day, especially at the beginning of the month, naturally we'll look at the amount, we'll look at the calculator and all. On the first month, on one day, my eldest daughter, she came near to me and asked, "Dad, I need ice cream." I did the typical pastoral trick. You go and pray. And this little daughter, she trusted in the Lord. She went and prayed. I just want to skip the question, but and I said, "You go and pray." And at 4 o'clock, one of my friends came. And we had a chat for almost half an hour. And Chennai Gurukul is right in the middle of the city. That metro city Gurukul in the Chennai town. And after a time of chat, he said, "Let's go for a walk." As we were walking, we entered into a big mall. And in front of that mall, there was a Baskin-Robbins ice cream parlor. He stopped there and asked to my eldest daughter, "Olive, do you need ice cream?" I gave her I already instructed that don't take anything from the strangers because it is a metro town and it's very difficult. So she always asks she always seek our permission. She looked at my face. I don't know whether to cry or to laugh. Understanding my face, she nodded her head. And he purchased half kg Baskin-Robbins ice cream and gave it to my little daughter. And then we came home. That was enough for her, and we all shared that half kg ice cream. In the evening prayer, I called Olive and I said, "Olive, if I give you ice cream, I would have purchased a 10 rupee Amul ice cream. Okay? But when God gave you ice cream, God gave you the best ice cream in the world. And it is not just for you, that is even enough for the entire family." The provision is also from the Lord. When we are standing for the Lord, God provides for us. Luke chapter 12, verse 6. Can someone read Luke chapter 12, verse 6? Yeah. For 2 pennies, 5 sparrows. In Sunday school, I asked this question, for 1 penny, then how many sparrows? For 2 rupees, 5 sparrows. Then for 1 penny, how many sparrows? And one smart boy once answered like this: "You will get 2 sparrows and an egg." It is not 2 sparrows and an egg. It is just like this trick in JCPenney, buy 2, get 1 free. For one penny, you will get two sparrows. And for 2 pennies, you will get 5 sparrows. 1 is free. And Jesus is very careful in using this illustration. He is talking about the 5th sparrow. It is cheap. No one is bothered about this little sparrow. And Jesus is telling, He even cared for the sparrow, which we don't value. How much more than God values us? Hudson Taylor, at the end of his ministry, he said, God's ministry in God's way never lack God's provision. It is not the duty of the sheep to go after good water, green pastures, still water, or paths of righteousness. Look at this chapter. Look at this chapter. When I am in need, He makes me and He leads me. He is in front. When I am in need for my provision, He is always in front of me. But all of a sudden, from verse 3 onwards, we see a shift. The psalmist is moving to a crisis. When he is walking through the valley of death, now he is not in the front, he is with him. When I need something for my provision, God is always in my front. When I am in crisis, God is not in the front, God is with me. In the ancient time, usually enemies attack from behind. And verse 5 onwards, we see enemies. And in verse 6, it says that surely mercy and goodness that will. Where is God now? He is behind. When I am in need, God is in front. When I am in crisis, God is with me. When enemies attack me, He is behind me as a shield. A 360-degree protection in my life. What else we need? What else we need? A 360-degree protection. Provision in crisis with us. When enemies attack us, He is behind us. As a protection. As a shield. What else we need in our life? Even though we walk through the valley of death, it is not only my life. You can see life of many missionaries. When they walked through the valley of death, God was with them. I know one of our graduates, one of our students, not our graduate, one of our students. When she accepted Christ as a Savior in her life, she was thrown out of the home. She was in the street. She's a lady in a remote village in Odisha. And she was in the street for 2 days. And from there, her uncle put her in our Orissa Bible Training Center. From there, she came to our seminary, India Bible College and Seminary in Kumbana. And when she walked through the valley of death, I asked her, she don't feel any fear because she had some courage, even in the street, without anybody, without any comfort, without the comfort of the family, because God was with her. And when she came to the seminary, she don't know even a single word in English. Even now also she's not very good in English. But when she lead the worship service, I really enjoy that worship service. Because we can see that the heaven is coming down and you can enjoy that worship service. When we walk through the valley of death, God is with us. Once we were traveling from Chandigarh to Manali. If you never visited Manali, that is one of the most beautiful places in India. From Chandigarh to Manali, on one side there is the Beas River, on the other side we have the Himalayan mountains. And we were going in a car. When we saw a very beautiful place, we decided to stop the vehicle and to take a picture from that place. My eldest daughter said, I am going to climb this mountain. And I stood opposite, near the bank of the river, and Ida was on the other side, was taking the photo. All of a sudden, there was a landslide. from top, stones began to fall down. And we were in 4 different places. My little daughter was staying in the, sleeping in the car. Olive is there on another place. And we 4 were walking towards the car. We are seeing just stones are falling in front of us, just cracking. And behind us, as we are walking, we are seeing that just behind us another stone is falling down. And we entered into the car and we moved. We reached the place very safely. But those who came behind us were afraid to continue their journey. Even though we walk through the valley of death, we don't have any fear because God is with us. And then we see this book actually can be divided into 2 parts. The first part is something related with shepherd, and the second part is related with a horse imagery. And 4 onwards, we see that my cup overflows, or thou hast prepared a table before the enemies. Once a naughty boy was punished during the dinner time to sit alone, not allowed to sit on the regular table, asked to sit there. And as a punishment, the father said to pray. And then this boy prayed, "Thank you for the table prepared before the enemies." See, in the Bedouin culture, the Eastern culture, the Arabian culture, when you are running into the camp of a Bedouin camp, that is in that background, there is a leader, tribal leader. It's a tribal culture. In that tribal leader, if the tribal leader gives you refuge, gives you a shelter. And again, in that Bedouin culture, usually, if I go, they will give me some food, but if Trump goes there, they will pour oil over the guest because he's such a valued person. And here, the enemies were attacking the psalmist. He's running into the refugee camp. But God is not treating him as a refugee. God is treating him by pouring oil upon him, anointing him with the oil. Though I went near to the Lord as a refugee, but God treated me not as a refugee, but as a precious person in his sight. And again, this passage says, my cup overflows. See, this passage nowadays in this culture, especially in our in this Western culture, we read the passage, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. But we read it very differently nowadays. People used to read in a different way, Lord is my shepherd, and many people read, therefore I shall want. And we move even little further, we say that Lord is my shepherd, therefore I shall grieve. God is enough for our needs, but not for our greed. In our culture, I'm not telling our culture, especially in India also no different. There is no difference nowadays, almost the same. We are deceived even by the advertisements. Every new mobile phone, then all of a sudden we are telling that if you don't have that mobile phone, then you lose something, right? The first person gave an advertisement, what is next? And the next company will give another advertisement, next is what? And we are running after it. The Lord is my shepherd, therefore I shall want. A greedy consumer culture. But the psalmist is settled down here. Psalmist is telling, I don't want any gift. I don't want anything if it falls outside the gift of the Lord. Whether it is a mobile phone, new mobile phone, if it does not belong to Lord, I don't want it. We are driven by the advertisement, not by the Lord. We are going after the new fashions. But the psalmist is telling, I settle down. I don't want anything if it falls outside the boundary of the Lord. I'm not looking at the advertisements. I'm looking at the Lord, whether I have to buy a new mobile phone or not. And I was doing my PhD when I was in the final year in the entire campus. There were only 2 persons without mobile phone. One is me and another teacher, one of my faculty. He actually belongs to a left group, and therefore he don't have a mobile phone, and for me also I don't have a mobile phone. And my friends always give me a mobile phone. At least we want to reach you, so they give me a mobile phone, and I'll give to someone else. But once we had we were mentoring a broken family who was not from a Christian background. They settled down in Chennai. And once we were in Chennai, they tried to reach us. We were not able to contact them at that particular point of time. When we came back to Chennai, we lost our connection with them. Then I decided, Lord, next time when you give me a mobile phone, I will use it. And within a week, I got a mobile phone. It is not the advertisement. It is not based on nothing, based on some other criteria. I have only one criteria. The Lord is my shepherd. He is my king. I don't want anything if it falls outside the gift of God. Whether it is a new mobile phone, whatever it may be, I don't want it. And he is making an affirmation that nothing outside the gift of God I don't have. I'm not interested. And here the psalmist is telling, my cup overflows. The problem with the present generation, read the passage very carefully. My cup overflows. In the present generation, the problem is when God bless them, they will buy bigger and bigger cups. Right? And we never allow to overflow. But the psalmist is telling, my cup overflows. And check the speciality of the promised land. A land flowing with milk and honey. Remember again, land flowing with milk, the term flowing. Nowadays, we are building dams. We never allow the milk to flow. And we buy bigger and bigger refrigerators instead of flowing. Our cup should overflow. My cup overflows. In our ministry, when we are, especially to the ministry, I know that you all are giving to the Lord. I know that you all are generous givers. But please understand, we need our cup to overflow. we need dedicated prayer. We need prayers. Why we need prayers? When it comes to the mission reality, Jesus said, pray for the harvest. Pray for the harvest. Pray to the God of harvest to send missionaries. I'm telling only the story of success. There are certain times we have stories of failures. Almost 2-3 after here, almost 2-3 weeks back, one of the graduate of our seminary, from the Facebook, looking at the Facebook, my wife realized that she is a graduate of our seminary. We feel that she was not in the ministry. Looking at the dress, especially in the Indian situation, if they are in ministry, we can understand with that dress code. Realized that she is doing some kind of office or something, and my wife had a chat with her. And we realized that this lady, after graduating from our seminary, now she was very good in English, now working as a manager of a school. See, you invested money, we invested our life. 3 years we were giving our life. And devil, when taking one person, you don't know how much I was disturbed. When we are giving, that is the reason why we are asking your prayers. Nearly 80 or 90 students are going to graduate in the month of March. For the right placement, you have to pray. If one person is not having the right placement, that brings pain in our heart. You are investing your money, we are investing our life. After spending our 3 years for them and working as a front officer, it's really a painful thing for us. So we need prayers. Your cup overflows, your cup should overflow. Your prayer should also overflow, not for your family alone, not for IC alone, but for the entire students who are going to graduate in the coming months. Pray continuously that God may guide them to the right place. And again, you yourself have to come to the mission field. Your cup has to overflow. One of the popular motto, or quite often I see in the brochures, is that come and be blessed. But the motto of even I go or the Bible is different. Go and preach. It is not come and be blessed, it is go and be blessed. Go and preach. In the Bible, we are not seeing the commandment, come and be blessed. Bible giving only one commandment, go and preach the good news. So it is not only just being here, you have to spend your time coming to the mission field in India. And third, a dedicated giving. Dedicated prayer, dedicated time, and dedicated giving. Give until it hurts. People often give from their luxury. During the Orissa cyclone, we decided to collect the old clothes. We realized one thing, 75% of the clothes we received, actually somehow they want to keep the wardrobe empty. It is not out of their pain they give to buy another new set of clothes, they want to empty their wardrobe. That is not a dedicated giving. Give until it hurts. That is what Mother Teresa once said. in a national prayer at Washington, D.C. in 1994. She repeated that statement for 8 times. And 8th time when she said, give until it hurts with a smile. And I know that you all are giving tithe, but understand the biblical concept of tithes. It is not 10%. Every 7th day, I will explain. Every 7th day you have to bring 10%. That means how much remaining with you? Then only 90% with you. Okay, again, in the 7th year, you have to again give the tithe in the 7th year from this 90%. That means another 9%. And again in the 49th year, you have to give tithe again. And out of the 81, from the 81%, you have to give tithe. Another 8.1%. If you are giving tithe, then the real tithe, according to the Bible, it is 27.1%. It is not 10%. That is a biblical concept. That is what Bible says. 7th day you are giving, on the day of 7 you are giving 10%. 7th year another 10%. 49th year another 10%. Calculate it. Our cup should overflow. And the last verse, if I keep on going, I can keep on going on this passage, but I'll come to the last verse. Surely mercy and goodness follow me. And the term follows is a powerful term in Hebrew. It is not just follows, it is just, you have to translate it like, surely mercy and goodness chase me. A police chase a thief. And the speciality of the thief is that thief will try to escape the police. And here, the psalmist is trying to escape from the mercy and the goodness because his mind is that my goodness and my mercy is the best for me. And Lord is chasing after him and telling that it is my mercy and my goodness that is enough for you. That is the best thing for us. And certain times God chased after me. God was just like a police chased after me. 4 years ago, when we were in Kollam, I was not in the IGO campus 4 years ago. We decided to change the school of our daughters. 2 of them from that one school to another school within Kollam. We had the TC in our hand and we went to a church in Kollam. And I had to preach in that church. And after the church, when I was standing just outside the church, one of the guests came there and said, John, your ministry in Kollam is about to finish. The TC is in my hand. The next day, a call came from Mercy Andy. John, why can't you come and join here? I tried to escape. Just like a thief, I tried to escape. But the TC was with me, and my friend said that you are going to move from this place. But I know God's mercy and God's goodness always follows me. That's enough for my life. Certain times, to be very frank, I read the book of Pastor K. Abraham twice, not only once, twice. And I was doing when I came to faith, I read that Malayalam book in 1994. But with an academic, critical mind, I read that book when I was doing, because my thesis was related with Pentecostalism. My MTH and PhD thesis was related with Pentecostalism. So I read that book even critically, page to page. And one day when I was sitting in the office, I saw the advertisement of IBCS. Top there, this legendary man, Pastor K. Abraham. And underneath when I saw that photo of me, I asked to myself, who am I? To be very frank, I asked to myself, who am I? To have a photo with this legendary man. Surely mercy and goodness follows me, chase me all the days of my life. If someone asks me about my future ministry, the Moravian symbol, Moravian flag comes to my mind. In the Moravian flag, there is an ox, there is a plough, and there is an altar. And underneath it is written, ready for either. To be sacrificed in the altar, ready. To be under the plough, to do the ministry, ready for either. It is not, I worked as a missionary even in remote places. Even today where no power supplies. And I used to tell in a way like that, I stayed in 5-star hotel and I stayed under stars. In the ministry, it is not my will, it is the will of the master that is important. It is not my interest. It is not my interest in ministry. It is the interest of the master that matters. Because he is my shepherd and I shall not want.